Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's hard to follow such optimism. Thank you. I would want to begin by saying that the government has lost control of the coronavirus, but that would not exactly be entirely accurate, because at every step of this crisis, from a nonsensical herd immunity strategy, the initial lockdown delay, equipment shortages, care home neglect, contradictory messaging, a privatised testing crisis and much more, the government has actually failed to adequately protect our communities. My constituency of Leicester East has been in lockdown or significant restricted measures, whether we call it Tier 3 as it was then or Tier 2 as it is now, for over 100 days, and to be precise, 106 days, at great cost to livelihoods, our businesses, our collective well-being and our mental and physical health. On lives and livelihoods, the government is failing on both. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I do not believe that the government have ever had this virus under control, and I fear the measures introduced this week will not be enough. This catastrophe was not inevitable. Across the world, countries from New Zealand to China are returning to normality. There is no city, and I hope you'll forgive me, Mr. Speaker, for saying there is no city that has borne the brunt of the government's failed approach than Leicester. Sadly, this government has wasted the sacrifices of the British people, as we are now in a similar position to where we were in March. They have spent £12 billion on a failed test and trace programme which prioritises the enrichment of private corporations over the protection of our communities. Rather than trust local health experts and the public sector, the government have outsourced responsibility to corporate giants which have consistently failed with unacceptable contract rates as low as 50% or lower. My home city of Leicester is a prime example of the contrasting success of an underfunded local public health-led trace system, where the success rate for our contact system is over 85%. The wasteful experiment of the private sector in our test and trace system must end. It should be simple. If you get contacted by test and trace, you must be provided with the material means to isolate. It doesn't matter what rules are set. If no one in government is taking these matters seriously and interpreting the rules to suit their own interests, the government is not even following the advice of its own scientists, who make clear what needs to be done to put the health of the nation first and protect lives. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.